right when I came in, I could see that it was going to work. It had the size and everything. I mean, I was invited in by a management company, Core, Royer, and Griffith, and given great rent, and asked to, to take the risk to build the space and rezone it. I mean, I thought this place would be able to take us to a next level, whatever that was. I thought it would be easier to do, say, blues shows or jazz shows, uptown kind of stuff. It was a great big room that was filled with furniture. It was a used furniture place. And I thought, well, gee, we'll have plenty more space for those rock shows, for those bands that are on their way on to being, your Papa Roach, or your Nirvana, as everybody always likes to talk about. Gee, Nirvana played there. Yes, and I'm still reaping the riches. I brought this baby in from the High Lie, which is now the Buckeye Hall of Fame. This bar is the Buckeye Hall of Fame. This is where Woody Hayes used to sneak his drinks. Whoops. The thing is, I figured that this would be a no-brainer as far as the location. And I mean, I knew the location would take a little while, but as far as the space went, I thought this is going to be great. And people were really slow to pick it up. It's amazing how, through the rose-colored glasses, people remember Stash as this somewhat better, larger. It was a funky, fun place, but it wasn't big enough on many, many nights. And, it was a bit down in the mouth. I had to, on numerous occasions, get somebody underneath the floor to actually prop it up because of it'd be in a Royal Crescent mob night, right. and I'd get down to the basement and look up and go, oh, this ain't gonna work. Some people thought this was too nice or a little antiseptic or something, like Stash's had so much more color. Once we got our legs, though, things worked out really in a, I mean, had you been at Stash's and then given it 3 years and then come here, you would have thought it was kind of a seamless, I would think you would think it was seamless. The room always made sense to me the way it's laid out. You go a lot of places and sight lines just aren't very good, Here, you can see from all over. Thanks to our very high stage.
Yes.
That stage is funny. It wasn't meant to be that high, but the fire marshal wanted a foot between the speakers and the top of the stage. And really the difference ended up being about 8 or 10 inches, but it really did make that much of a difference. But it also kept people from stage diving, And punk rockers, they just aren't as tough as they used to be. Let me fix my hair. Okay. What we had here more of a few years ago that we don't quite have now is really the active local scene. Now, there aren't local bands who draw 200 and 300 people right now. There were. There are a lot of places right now where bands can play. As far as the local live scene, it's unbelievable. I mean, you guys on your cover will say, 282 shows this weekend or something, or this week, I mean, it's amazing. Someone described it as being too diffuse, Too many places to play, that the local scene is so spread out. Maybe that's why there's not your Greenhorn drawing 200 or 300 or Mary Adam 12 or some of the bands from the glory days. This neighborhood has changed, and and I do believe we've helped somewhat. Change certainly hasn't been as drastic as South Campus, the gateway. But I tell you what, there's still crack hoes, there's still break-ins, and I apologize to anybody who got broken into down here. And trust me, it happened to me a couple times. And for a while, the landlord was towing cars, but that's another story. I chased my van up the alley, but it did no good. They still took it. There has been some change. Family Dollar? Actually, Family Dollar came in just after we did. So, Blood Plasma Center, they're still here. And still have the same landlord.
It's a growth industry.
But, this is what happens. This is the reality. And I could kind of see it, but it was always on the horizon. And I always believed we'd be able to, weather through. This business, Stash and Little Brothers, has done everything. I managed to last here 10 years. So other people have tried. I mean, the factory tried to be in that niche, and And there were a couple other places that tried to be more of a national, doing that that mid-sized show thing, the up and coming, the tried and true. But no, there haven't been that many like us. I mean, we've been at it the whole time. So the whole time I've been at it. So we'll see. I mean, tendency is when there is a need in the community and a desire, and people express the willingness to come out and pay for it, then you assume that niche will be filled. Do I know what's next? I think it's an ice cream truck. I'm living in this neighborhood on the west side, and I'm a nice little neighborhood. I could see me driving the ice cream truck around the neighborhood, hanging out with the kids. I'd let Declan, work the bell. I have not been happiest in the bar situation. I've always been here for the music, but the bar thing's kind of up and down with me. I just don't know if I want to be in the bar business. I may decide to do some more shows. There are other places that still, are usable. Yeah, there's people sending their memories. It's funny though, memories compress a lot. So the memory tends to say, I was there all the time. And but there are some great stories of different nights that people, made it out. I always liked it too when, when people would, do the cross-cultural thing, like when a blues fan would show up at a punk show and vice versa, experience something else, check something else out. And some people did spend tons of time at Stash's or Little Brothers, growing up here, so to speak, or not growing up here, which is probably more important. Start a band, get drunk, and be somebody. In that order. No, wait, get drunk, start a band, be somebody, that's it.